Every child has a simple picture. A square block that became a wall, and a triangle that made a roof. Together, they made a house. And if the kid was especially artistic, they would add a few squares for windows and a rectangle as a door. A couple clouds in the sky and green for the grass. Most kids would add a sun peeking into the corner, or it'll be right above the house to signify a new day. But she made a tree with a trunk as strong as titanium and leaves as green as life. And there was a man with a simple vision, building the home that a child drew, creating the walls that became a second home, adding the door with teachers at the frame, waiting to welcome each student, windows so the children can look outside, preparing for the world at a safe distance. And there was a tree, and all the little girls and boys would look up at it to see that the branches never stopped growing from when they were young. And they all knew that every child's simple picture would be added to the tree of Friendship's home.
Distinguished guests, please give a warm friendship welcome for our very own Chief of Schools, Mr. James Waller.
Good morning, Friendship family. I'd like to welcome you to our 25th anniversary Community Convocation program. I am delighted to be with you today. And yes, we're virtual again this year, but we're getting pretty good at it. But seriously, all of our teams at Friendship have been working hard to celebrate our 25th anniversary this morning. We've crafted today's program as part of our pledge to keep Friendship families safe and on track for a successful return to school. As part of our commitment to you, our spirited and dedicated Friendship community, we're going to enjoy some fantastic content this morning and even some surprises. I personally had a very great experience talking to two of our Friendship alumni. In fact, commemorating our 25 years of Friendship extraordinary vision and service, two alumni reached out to me via Zoom. They called home because Friendship is their forever family. They wanted to help us remember our past and celebrate our future. I'm looking forward to sharing those conversations with you. But before we dive into our content this morning, we're going to do a fun exercise. Later in the program, our very own Ms. Patricia Brantley will be conducting live polling that focuses on our 25 years together and what it means to sustain Friendship's home moving forward. So I want to make sure you're familiar with how these interactive polls work. Here we go. To log onto the poll, text Friendship Forward 466. That's Friendship Forward 466 to the number 22333. Everyone pull out your phones and be sure you have, it's on your screen, but make sure you go Friendship Forward 466. You're going to text it to the number 22333. Does everyone have it? You should receive a text message confirming your entry into the polling system. Now, you will be able to submit a response to a multiple choice options. Here we go with a practice polling question. What is your favorite Friendship event? If it's A, the A is the first day of school. B, staff celebrations. C, spring break. D, Teacher of the Year Gala. Or graduation ceremonies. Again, text A, B, C, D, or E. Remember your text letter A, B, C, D, or E to the question on the screen. I see the numbers coming in. Wow. That's okay. A little surprising. Keep going. Keep going. Okay. Well, looking at your responses, it's a close call between staff celebration and Teacher of the Year gala. But it looks like the winner is spring break. Not very surprising. There are many reasons to rejoice in what we've built at Friendship over the past 25 years. And as you know, everything we've become comes from vision, dedication, and passion. It also comes from perseverance. Of course, our Friendship home was not built overnight. It started with a drawing, if you will. A rendering was designed by some of our incredible visionary architects. As we enter our 25th year, we've been talking with many Friendship family members about our early years and what it took to build our house and the legacy of our mission. Take a look.
The charter school movement came around at exactly the right time for Friendship House.
Donald Hentz was really interested in the idea of forming a charter school. He's a man who makes decisions quickly and intuitively and most of the time absolutely on target.
What we were about was really providing reasonable education for children in the District of Columbia. This was something that we hoped would make a difference in education in the city.
We're already a trusted agency in the District of Columbia in terms of our finances and our organization. And so that really gave us a leg up. I think that the other idea that helped us was that we would partner with the Edison Foundation.
I was introduced to Donald Hentz. I think of him as an entrepreneur, an educational entrepreneur in the biggest sense of the word, and he has been a phenomenal charter leader and the organization that he has built.
Our mission truly says that we want the best for our students, that we want to offer an experience that truly makes them competitors who enjoy a lifetime of success, the ability to pursue and become whatever it is that they dream of pursuing and becoming.
It succeeds because it gets the students to believe in the mission, to understand the mission, to understand what's going on at the most basic level. I'll learn it if I own it.
We believe that students were on this journey, this path to greatness, and we wanted to bring folks on board that were willing to be big thinkers, those who were willing to really just move the challenges out of the way, move the stumbling blocks out of the way, and create a culture where students could thrive and leaders could be further developed.
I knew that we could create a culture of caring individuals, from the students, parents, to the staff. And I wanted to make sure we accomplished that while making sure children were learning.
Friendship was founded on this understanding that we wanted to be a social network that supported the development and growth of parents and families and other stakeholders in the communities.
When you walked into school, you were walking into a community. And it was, every child had to feel safe, welcome. It was a community that cared for people.
I will never, ever forget the very first day of school. When I went out and I saw all the parents that were walking their kids to school, I saw sisters and brothers that were walking their kids to school. It was like beautiful.
I started at Friendship Chamberlain Champions when I was 24 years old in 1998. This is my first job after college, and to see what Mr. Hentz has done in these past 25 years has been amazing. I mean, transforming communities, lives, seeing children grow into adults.
I think my role in the very early days was we provided capital to Friendship, around $40 million And that enabled Donald and Friendship to secure the real estate that Friendship needed during that period.
The next step in Friendship's growth was to completely reset that relationship. We did a bond financing, and that enabled us to raise the money to be able to repay Edison and have resources available to Friendship for future renovation. And so the financial independence that came from that transaction and then from the resetting of the management relationship ultimately led to Friendship taking over the entire operation of the schools, which then laid the foundation for what Friendship has become.
The impetus wasn't to grow and just have more kids, but to really grow in the sense that we could serve more of the community. And that's been the driving idea, is that do we belong here and can we be of service?
I remember when Southeast Academy, and it was a hot mess. And we were going to close it, but closing a school is not necessarily a solution, because you have children. And Donald stepped up and said, I'd like to take over that charter. I'd like to help that school to maintain itself in that community.
Tech Prep Campus was an excellent project in the fact that it was in an area where a lot of people didn't think a school would be able to survive or perform because it was a challenging area. But it was a really clear example of that when you build a quality facility, that parents will want to go there. And it's transformed that whole neighborhood.
Every time Donald had a building, he would get it upgraded so that it would be a wonderful place that the kids could go, and their parents would love to take their children.
We've always wanted to create an environment that they did not have to worry about facilities, and the children could always come into school in a clean environment so that they only had to worry about bettering themselves, and the administrators only had to worry about teaching and bettering the kids.
And Donald inspires people to be a family.
We don't say staff, we say family. That has been the number one thing I think we have with each other.
We have a legacy where we're always supporting our community, we're giving back. I'm so proud when I see former students as teachers in Friendship.
And I think it's important that we fulfill our mission and that our alumni after college not only stay connected to their bigger and larger community, but the Friendship community as well. And I think that's evident if you look at the number of alumni who work in every department and every campus across our network of schools.
I was in kindergarten at Chamberlain campus. From there, I went to Blow Pierce, and 25 years later now, I'm an assistant teacher at Friendship Armstrong, so I think that's really cool that everything's coming full circle.
The legacy will be that it is an organization founded by committed people who seized an opportunity to do the very best for communities that were most in need, for communities where any number of us can easily see in the students ourselves, and we're constantly pushing forward.
But when you talk about legacy, Dr. King used to say, what have you done to make the world better for others? It really does come down to, have you been able to positively impact on the life circumstances of some of your neighbors or fellow citizens?
I believe the legacy of Friendship Public Charter School is that we are not just a network of schools. We are a critical member of thousands of families here in Washington, D.C. I mean, I like to say that we're big enough to serve, yet small enough to care.
Wow. Big enough to serve, but small enough to care. We're truly built on a solid foundation, and I'm excited about our future. And now, Friendship family, I'm extremely honored to present Friendship's lead architect, Mr. Donald L. Hintz.
Good morning, Friendship. Good morning, Friendship. I'm I had been sitting over to the side planning to say some really smart things about how Mr. Spate will never look this good. But the video brought back some of the great memories that we have here. And so, Mr. Spade, even though you never looked this good, I want you to know you should keep trying. You cannot imagine how thrilled I am to be with you today. What started as the efforts of a then 97-year-old settlement house to revitalize our neighborhoods, improve education, strengthen families, and develop affordable housing has morphed and grown into what we now call Friendship Public Charter School. What was it like in Washington 25 years ago that caused an almost 100-year-old organization to step out of its traditional role as a service organization and believe that it could be a catalyst for a dramatic change in this city? This was truly David taking on Goliath. These are excerpts from our guiding document that I wrote along with members of the executive staff at Friendship House. The Washington metropolitan region has witnessed a fundamental change in its economy. This has shifted the focus of enterprise away from the District of Columbia and close-in suburbs to the far reaches of Prince William and Fairfax counties. These changes are fueled in large measure by the technological sector, where fast-growing companies taking advantage of the digital revolution have created jobs and economic opportunities almost unprecedented in our nation's history. While the economic growth created significant levels of familiar and personal progress, it did not impact the region equally across state or county boundaries. The then newly released Brookings Institution report concluded the Washington region is clearly divided by race, income, jobs, and opportunity. Years of ineffective schools, government programs without clear objectives and measurable outcomes have left children and families in the district with few alternatives to lifelong poverty. Poor and working families, who make up the majority of those in poverty, have become even more marginalized as housing stocks deteriorate, neighborhoods gentrify, or in certain neighborhoods become less safe, and schools fail to educate their children. We concluded then that it's not will that is lacking in the transformation of communities, but it is a lack of vision. The lack of vision was compounded by the lack of specific knowledge and tools necessary to organize, implement, and sustain effective community-based efforts. Friendship House, with no monetary resources and an unfailing commitment to the community, responded with a set of interrelated strategies which we felt could do the job. You should know the gallant legacy from which we have drawn our strength and commitment to build Friendship Public Charter School that it is today. In 1905, Friendship House established the first Montessori school in Washington. In 1908, the house, as we called it, established the first kindergarten in Washington. And when it became too large to operate, turned it over to the public school system. In 1910, Friendship House established the first daycare center in Washington for working mothers. We knew that our commitment to children and education is without peer in this city. None of what I have said could have been done without the Board of Trustees and the faith and legacy they put into me over the years. The District of Columbia requires 5 D.C. residents to establish a corporation in the city. I pay tribute this morning to the 5 gallant souls who put their name on our document. Sadly, the 3 women who helped incorporate Friendship are now deceased. First, Lisa Sullivan. She's the first secretary of the Board of Trustees. I met Lisa at the Children's Defense Fund, and she later became a program officer at the Rockefeller Foundation. Helen Verstandig, for those of you who've really been in the city a long time, she was known as Madam Wellington. She owned jewelry stores all over the country, but she was my neighbor, and she had faith in what we were doing. Thirdly, Dr. Floretta McKenzie. Dr. McKenzie, believe it or not, was the superintendent of D.C. public schools. Just think, public school superintendent becoming board member, signatory, and vice chair of the board of Friendship Public Charter School. And last but not least, someone who has been by my side through every war, through every fight, through every achievement, and without him, we would probably not exist today, Mr. Victor Long. Let me introduce, today by name, our trustees. Dr. Gregory Smith Prince Jr., Vice Chair of the Board. Gregory has been a close friend and advisor for almost 40 years. Without him, I don't know what I'd do. Chris White. Chris and his wife have moved to Sausalito. He said he couldn't take Washington too much longer. And but Chris heard about Friendship and started bringing wealthy donors to visit Blow Pierce, just showing up. And so I said, you know, you spend so much time over here, why don't you think about becoming a board member? And he accepted. Tracy Gray. Tracy, I told you, and most of you know this, that Friendship was almost bankrupt, Friendship House. And Mario Marino came to visit one time and decided that he wanted to work with us because he liked our vision of youth, what youth programs should be. And the person who led that effort for Mario is Dr. Tracy Gray. She's still a part of Friendship, and we love Tracy. Carol Thompson Cole. Carol, the youth organization that Marino started morphed into what is now called Venture Philanthropy Partners. And Carol Thompson Cole has been the president of that organization since really the naming VPP. And she has also been a part of the Friendship Board. And she became a part because I think some of the other board members thought that it was a little bit difficult trying to handle me. I am really not a person who takes direction at all. Not well, not at all. And so Carol and I can get along. We work hard together, and I love her. Another, our finance genius, Darren Glimpf, who is the board treasurer. Darren was young when I met him. Well, now who knows? But he brought his financial genius to Friendship. He has guided us financially for many years, particularly in the area of public finance. Friendship, over the years, has really issued more than $200 million in bonds to buy and renovate the buildings that we own. We're really not good in terms of renting property because they don't quite want to make it look like what we want, which is beautiful and clean, welcoming to our children. Also on our board is Dr. Deborah McGriff. Debbie is really the reason Friendship got started. The Rockefeller Foundation had a conference led by Lisa Sullivan at Vassar College. And I was one of the speakers asked to present. And after my talk, I sat down, and this lady walked over to me, and she said, "Hi, my name is Deborah McGriff, and I hear you want to start a charter school." And at that time, she was senior vice president for Edison Schools. And she said, "I need to introduce you to Chris Whittle." Next, Eric McKinley King. Eric was parent representative on our board while his kid was in our school. I learned very early on never to invite Eric to come to a meeting where we were trying to tell the charter school we were wonderful. Eric said, "Oh, well, maybe." I said, "Oh, God." But anyway, he was good. We put him on the board, and we have kept him long after his son has graduated from our schools. Eric is an integral part of who we are as a board. And finally, last but not least, is Chris Whittle. You saw on the video where Chris said that they gave Friendship about $40 million. Well, they loaned us $40 million. And I'm not sure why, because we had no credit. And whatever credit we might have had to have been bad because we couldn't pay our bills. But Chris stuck in there. And within a very few years, as you heard from Ed Walter, we got mortgages on the building from Bank of America. And we got that at the time, by the way, because Hunt Allard, who was the president of the board of Friendship House, was also vice president at Bank of America. So there are interwoven connections all over this country. So what went into making Friendship what it is today? I think we're on a fantastic path. So let me do my ritual. Simone checked everything this year, so I didn't forget David Lowry's name. But Patricia Brantley, our Chief Executive Officer. Vilka Scott Marcus, our Chief Academic Officer. Mary Torian Dunnott, our Deputy Chief Academic Officer. James Waller, Chief of Schools. Zach Morford, Chief Performance Officer. Catherine Sanwell, Chief Financial Officer. Candace Burns, Chief Communications Officer. Dylan Groover, Chief Personnel Officer. They're going to correct me on this because they really have given him a fancy title now, and I'm backwards. And Ken Cherry, Chief of Staff. This is not the order that they generally appear, but it is the proper order. So you figure that out for yourself. I would be remiss if I did not call out Mary Proctor, who is the founding Chief of Staff of Friendship. No one would tackle or shake down the charter board or the auditors faster than Mary Proctor or harder than Mary Proctor. The work that we have done could not be duplicated without her efforts. Thank you, Mary, for everything you did for the years you worked for Friendship. That, too, is an interesting story. We have so many. Mary was retiring from the federal government, and she lived around the corner from Friendship. And so one day she came and politely left her resume at the front desk. I'm like, okay. So the lady gave me the resume. I looked at it. I called her on the phone. I said, you graduated from Harvard? I said, and you crazy enough to want to work here? I said, well, if you're crazy enough to want to work here, I'm crazy enough to hire you. And so she came, and she was a tremendous staff person. And at the 2015 convocation, I asked you to go on an imaginary journey with me. And in this year, when we undergo our 25th anniversary review, it is important that you hear it again. Much of this was adapted from Giselle Martin, but good people know how to steal information if they give the right attributes. Imagine if everyone in school thought that what happened in every classroom to every teacher and every student was of such significance that quality learning was our most important project. Imagine if every Friendship staff member were vested in improving themselves and their children. Imagine schools where data-driven instruction is the hallmark of our work. Imagine schools where the success of the children was the only reason for being. What would it mean for our time as we used it? I can only imagine. Let me introduce our principals. Ms. Cabria Cowan, Friendship Armstrong, Mr. Gregory Spears, Friendship Blow Pierce, Ms. Diamond Harris, Friendship Chamberlain, Dr. Peggy Jones, Friendship Collegiate, Mr. John Snowdy, Friendship Ideal, Mr. John Sloan, Friendship Online, Mr. David Lowry, Friendship Southeast, Ms. Kunyi Booth, Friendship Tech Prep, and Ms. Erica Stevens, Friendship Woodridge International Baccalaureate. We hope that you take what you have seen and what you will see today to heart, because Friendship is a fantastic place, but it is only as good as the people who work here and the families that we try to serve. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hintz. Your commitment to friendship in the community resonates with me and all others within the Friendship family. Also, thank you for your personal sacrifice you've made to build the house that we call Friendship. Okay, remember when I mentioned I have a surprise for you? Well, you're about to see the first of my conversations with two incredible Friendship alum. Here's what happened when Collegiate's own Kiana Murphy called home.
Hello.
Hi, James. It's so good to see you.
Kiana, or should I say Dr. Murphy, how wonderful it is to see you this morning.
Yes, I'm calling home to celebrate Friendship's 25th anniversary, and it's so exciting that Friendship is 25.
It is very exciting. I can't believe we've come this far.
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about Friendship lately, and I wanted to call to say that I wouldn't be where I am today without the support and encouragement that I received from Friendship family, not only while I was in school, but after my graduation too.
That is so wonderful to hear. I'm glad we've been there for you.
Yeah, my Friendship family has been there for me on so many levels, emotionally, intellectually, spiritually, financially, with the Posse Foundation Scholarship, Gates Millennium Scholarship, and also Achievers that jump-started my academic and professional career. And it's hard to imagine that I graduated back in 2011. Wow. A lot of great things have happened over the past 10 years. And my gosh, 10 years, I cannot believe it. So it's because of Friendship that I defended my dissertation in English and now have a PhD. It's because of Friendship that I earned my Master's of Arts in English from the University of Pennsylvania in 2016 and my Bachelor's in English and Sociology from the University of Wisconsin in 2015.
Wow, that's so impressive. And we're all so very proud of you. You are a model for all of our young scholars.
Yeah, I can't begin to describe the impact that folks like Dr. Charzay, Ms. Hemphill, and Mr. Robinson, and my teachers at Friendship has had on my life, my family, and my entire community. And it was so important that I was a part of the early college program and also took AP courses. So I was able to get college credits and also get ahead in my studies. So kind of thinking about the journey to see a community of Black scholars like me make it from a place where people don't even look twice is kind of beyond words. And now be able to see that my younger brother and sister got the opportunity to also go to college and graduate, which is very important. It's such a blessing to me. My siblings are getting an incredible opportunity, and my family didn't have to worry about finances at all.
I'm so glad to hear about that. And I know I keep saying this, Kiana, but everyone at Friendship is very proud of you. Our first PhD. We're thrilled that Friendship has been there for you and that you've been such an important part of our Friendship family.
I can't thank my Friendship family enough for everything they've done for me and for my family. And it doesn't seem like enough to just call home, but I'd had to tell everyone about how I feel.
Well, thank you for doing that. And it will make a lot of people very happy to hear from you. Good luck, Dr. Murphy, and stay in touch with your Friendship family.
Yes, I will do. Thank you so much for inviting me in.
Bye.
Yeah.
Wow. Isn't she amazing? Kiana Murphy is a living testament to our 4 pillars. Listen, you heard from her directly. The kind of support that fosters true success comes from people we call family. It's important that each of us understand our family heritage, the roots that sustain our virtues and nurtures us. What better way than to visualize the origins through a Friendship family tree?
Our Friendship family tree has roots that have grown more solid and secure over 25 years. The branches of the tree have expanded to include our community office, Chamberlain, Woodridge, Below Pierce, Collegiate, Southeast, Tech Prep, Armstrong, Online, and Ideal. Our Friendship family tree is more than just the foundation for Friendship's first 25 years. It also creates the footing for our future.
Okay, it's time for our second alumni conversation. I am thrilled to tell you that Jarrell King, Tech Prep's own, called home.
Hello.
Hello, James. It's me, Jarrell King, calling home for the 25th anniversary.
Hello, Jarrell. Tech Prep class of 2020 and class valedictorian. And not to mention trombone player in the marching band and Kappa League. It's wonderful to hear your voice.
So what can I say? I've worn many hats throughout my time here at the Big Tech. I couldn't miss calling home after everything that my Friendship family has done for me.
Well, we'll never forget what you've done for Friendship and our community.
You mean the Google Science Fair? While I handle all of the tech stuff, everyone here at Friendship were the ones who lended me that once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
You're being too humble. You've invented the InstaLaptop 2.0, and you won the Google Science Fair in 2019. And yes, we have to say it, you were only 15.
Well, I have my friendship family to thank for that. From my teachers and mentors, especially Miss Lenora Felder, to our strong and dedicated leaders, like our principal, Ms. Booth, along with our CEO, Ms. Patricia Brantley, as well as all of my fellow scholars for their continued support and camaraderie through it all. It's a proud moment for all of us, and it's because of Friendship's continued support that I'm currently a rising sophomore at Yale University.
And one of the youngest students at Yale, I might add.
That is true, as I will just be turning 18 in just a few days. The Gates Scholarship, as well as many other great opportunities that have been afforded to me over the years, have really helped me get there. Not to mention the endless amounts of support with college applications, essay and interview prep, as well as SAT prep.
Jarrell, don't sell yourself short. You made Friendship and the city of Washington, D.C. very proud.
Thank you. But seriously, I am truly grateful to my Friendship family. I have always felt that I had a second home at the Schoolhouse of Friendship, and I know that wherever I go, the values that they have instilled within me will forever hold true. Even if I'm across the country in California with Apple or up in Connecticut furthering my Yale education.
Well, we feel the same, Jarrell.
And I definitely want to pay it forward, you know. I want to give back to the community that has given so much to me. Friendship has shown me that I had the potential to do so much more than I had ever imagined. And I want to ensure that all of the youth that go to and through Friendship know the exact same thing. Friendship will give you the tools and the knowledge, but it's up to you to craft your own path to success, no matter what that may look like. You know what I always say, the sky is never the limit here in Ward 8.
You are so right, Jarrell. And that's why you are our Google Science winner. Thank you for calling to remind us of this at Convocation. Take care, stay in touch, and don't forget to go to class.
I definitely won't. Thank you.
Bye, Jarrell.
I'm sure we all wish Jarrell a happy 18th birthday. I don't know about you, but I am truly moved by Jarrell's reminder of what we have achieved for Friendship over the past 25 years. Still, as the song says, we've only just begun. Just wait and see. So here to tell us more about Friendship's future, Friendship's own CEO, Ms. Patricia A. Brantley, our Chief Innovator.
25,600 minutes. How do you measure a year in the life? How about
525,600 minutes. 525,000 moments so dear. 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year? How do you measure a year in the life? We've done it with grades, test scores, in-seat attendance, PMF tier rankings, and OSCE stars. But as the song says, these moments are better measured in daylights, in sunsets, in cups of coffee, in togetherness, in love, in friendship. I came to work on Monday, and when I walked into the building, they were taping sessions in progress. There were techs and cameramen and all in the hall, and they had signs up, saying, shh, and be quiet. They were necessary because we weren't together and we had to broadcast to each of our campuses and into homes. And so when I got to my office, I sat down and I felt sadness, grief. I felt what a lot of you may have felt over this past year. And I stayed in that moment of sadness for a while because I wanted what we had in previous years at Standish University, at Convocation, when we get to see each other and talk about what we've done and what we hope to do and reminisce about the kids and what we learned from the past year. And I was on my way to a pretty bad day. My cup was half empty. But then I got a text from a staffer about a math session, and they said, that session reignited my love of math. And that was a session with Angela Doss and Ashley Royal, and we know they are math stars, and they want to make sure that all of us can see the world in terms of math and the numbers, and our children would be experts in it. And then later, I ran across Jennifer Beckwith, and she had a session talking about exploratory learning, and part of the session included a panel of Blow Pierce Middle School students talking about how the work of educators in the summer impacted them and their dreams and what they wanted wanted to do later, and how they really valued the fact that the adults at Friendship would come together in this way for them. The world changed, and we did things differently. And I realized in those moments that instead, my cup was running over. It wasn't half empty. It was running over because at Friendship, we understand that it's not just the means, it's the outcomes. We have to focus on what we can do to still deliver to our students, to still deliver to each other, to still be Friendship family. Friendship, it's been 17 months. 17 months of breakthrough ideas, unparalleled collaboration, and more Zoom and Google Meets than we could ever count. There have been peaks and valleys. But there are moments of sheer amazement, too. 525,600 moments a year. Friendship, through it all, we knew that we would see each other again, face to face, although mask to mask. And it's been 25 years. Think about that. We're on the eve of our 25th birthday. We have had 13,140,000 moments of greatness and opportunities for us to go higher. On the eve of our 25th birthday, we've continued to prove our resilience every day at Friendship. And just look at what we've accomplished. I can tell you that our journey has made us more creative and proactive. It made us reimagine ourselves in our classrooms, and this year we did it practically overnight. Out of chaos and confusion brought by the pandemic, we realized that not only are we able to bounce back, but that we can adapt to any situation. When others thought that the physical distance between us would stop us in our tracks, we showed them how it brought us together, made us stronger, faster, more motivated. We've proven ourselves again and again. Through sheer determination, we uncovered a mind shift about access to education that we never thought possible. We even became a role model for other schools and institutions around the nation. Just look at what Business Wire wrote about us. Amid COVID-19, Friendship Online offers more learning opportunities. And what about our scholars and what they had to say on ABC News Channel 7?
Even though we're still in quarantine at our houses, we're not at the building, we can still learn the same way. We can get some more knowledge into our heads and get better every single day.
And how did we do it? Well, first, we recognize the humanity of all of our people. Big, small, young, old, and everything in between. We knew we had to reach you through relationships and connections. It was how we would fulfill our mission. Humanity first and always. Then we set the standard for school safety, student and team member COVID testing and vaccine access. We made the curriculum transparent to families so that our scholars could learn at home. We supplied our kids with technology, meals, tutoring, counseling, and all the supports that they needed to facilitate learning. And we expanded our online platforms to make it easier for teachers and families to engage more fully with our scholars remotely. Many have looked to Friendship as a model. But did you know they look at us in awe? And that's because you are trailblazers. Friendship Forward means that we keep moving ahead no matter what obstacles come our way. Our ability to be ever resilient evolved from a vision spearheaded by none other than our lead architect, Donald Hentz. We pursued Donald's guidance for the past 25 years and built our foundation on excellence and perseverance. We created a sanctuary where love and leadership thrive, both inside and out. We fueled a community that expects nothing less than superior outcomes from Friendship schools and our students. 25 years ago, no one would have believed that we could have produced multiple Tier 1 schools. They would never have imagined that schools in Ward 7, Ward 8, 1, 2, 4, 5, every place where friendship is could repeatedly turn out Ivy League scholars, PhD candidates, and thousands of alum with bachelor's and master's degrees. I say we're like the Olympic sprinters, Sydney McLaughlin and Delilah Muhammad. We keep running, adjust in the moment, push each other to be better, and then shatter records. So I want to remind you this morning of just how far we've come. I want to applaud you for the enthusiasm and commitment that you demonstrate every day in every way to our friendship family. And I want you to know that the people who helped shape our 25 years, the pioneers of our first chapter, well, they are beaming ear to ear because they, like me, are overflowing with pride. It's a pride that's more than well-deserved. We worked hard to connect to lasting priorities and values. And we've asked ourselves some tough questions. I've asked myself, how do I want to live my life more authentically? What does excellence mean to me? And I know you've done the same. It's because we care so deeply about who we are and what we do. You know, we all know and love gymnast Simone Biles, who has won a total of 32 Olympic and world medals. Yet she withdrew from the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, 2021, to take a mental break. When she came back, she earned a bronze medal for the team. She showed the world that even the best and strongest athletes need to recharge and that mental health should never pay the price. Simone acted from courage and ultimate presence. She demonstrated how vital it is to be truthful and honest with ourselves and each other. But what stands out for me are her words. She said, as a gymnast, I love performing, but I came in and felt like I was still doing it for other people. And it just hurt my heart that doing what I love has been taken away from me to please others. Family, you came to friendship because you love what you do, and yet your love is sometimes tainted by forces outside of your control. Tainted by pursuit of test scores, tier rankings, stars. But we know that what is most important is the development of each individual child and the development of our adults. We persist and we will pursue our higher calling for the next 25 years. Like Simone, we will do what we love and we will shine. We will not rely on external validation. We will rely on what we provide to our scholars, the stuff that feeds our soul. Truth and honesty, they define us at Friendship. We resonate with those qualities not only because they are inherent in our foundational pillars, but also because we're continually striving to be the very best for our scholars. I want to give you a very tangible example. I want to talk about a young student I'll call him E. E came to Friendship in 2018. Classified as a student with multiple disabilities, E started his journey in preschool 3 with us. When he was in the first grade, he experienced several traumatic life events. His parents were absent. The guardian assigned to him was in an accident and could no longer care for him. Think about that for a minute. Think about being 3 years old and the adults you count on in your life, the home that you live in, that's gone. At 3 years old, E didn't have stability in his life, but he had us because we're here and we will always be here. As a characteristic of the Friendship family, the faculty and staff intervened. Teachers bought him balloons and a cake for his birthday. The principal took E home to his new foster care spot with dinner when the buses didn't show up. Today, E is in the 4th grade and academically growing. He has friends, he has his teachers, and by all accounts, he is a very happy child. At Friendship, we're not just about grades and test scores. Yes, E's story shows our dedication to the best practices in our classrooms, but it also demonstrates how much we honor humanity. It shows how friendship educators are willing to step outside of the classroom boundaries to honor student exploration, and how we stand behind our scholars through thick and thin. And that is true regardless of what role you play at Friendship. Every single one of us is important to the lives of the children and to each other. And no, it's not just an expression for us. Friendship is family. I also want to share some results from our new program, the Explorers Camp. We tried something new, and it's not because what we've done before wasn't good enough, but because we are dedicated to evolution. That's also part of our DNA. Our Explorers Camp partnered with the Whittle Private School in Northwest D.C., and it was a huge success. Why? It was a success because not only did we actively engage our students, our scholars, we also actively engaged our educators to design an innovative program for young people. We fostered the love of self-driven exploration for both adults and children. And just look at the data. Overwhelmingly, students said that it deepened their interest and their pursuit of STEM. Students told us that they appreciated that learning took place everywhere. From nature trails to science labs, our students were at Rock Creek Park and in the best facilities. Students responded that this camp made them want to attend collegiate or tech prep because they were, as middle school students, exposed to our great high schools. I want to reinforce this point about how middle school students came together with middle school and high school educators, and those educators created a program that used a variety of experiences to immerse students in learning and open their minds and unique interests, talents, and aspirations, and what they can do to have a positive impact on the world. It brings me joy to see how you, all of our educators and team members, responded to our Explorers Camp. And listen, you have to see the photos. The expressions say it all. They speak volumes about why you love what you do. In the upcoming school year, we'll expand on our success. We will capitalize on our legacy and commitment to exploratory learning. We will continue to make a new way of learning more accessible and more fun. Part of defining our next chapter is our commitment to launching new programs that are driven by your passion for growing minds and for fostering the potential of children. Look at what we're doing with our Friendship Learning Lab, led by our own Felicia Owell Grant. We're training emerging leaders within Friendship and expanding our reach to other schools and educators. The Friendship Learning Lab is the only program that places leaders and educators at the center of their learning. With our Black Male Teacher Residency Program, led by Joseph Spate, we're launching a pipeline program to identify and support Black male educators as they exit college. Our goal is to double, hear me now, double the number of African-American male teachers within 5 years. Today, approximately 2% of public school teachers across this nation are African-American males. Friendship will change that. Our Early Childhood Distance Learning Project will establish a laboratory for creatives of all ages to share ideas and inventions. And in Arkansas, our Friendship Education Foundation, led by Joe Harris, has produced results in math and English that beat the district, the state, and the nation in outcomes. And we will continue to use what we have learned through the years at Friendship to fuel our work in Arkansas and elsewhere. Let me remind you that the solutions and many more began with your ideas and your desires. So now here's the part where we start dreaming out loud. I want to know, what are you thinking about for the next 25 years? What would you like to see in our next chapter? I'm talking about taking friendship to every student wherever they may be. I'm talking about all of you getting on board with me to catapult our friendship family, our Friendship Forever home into the next cosmos. I'd like all of you to switch on both your left and right sides of your brains. I want you to harness all of your creativity to open your heart. Let's start the process right now with an interactive poll. Don't forget to text Friendship Forward 466 to the number 22333. So here's the first question. What is the most important lesson from the first 25 years of friendship? Is it A, we are more powerful together? B, every moment with our students matters? C, investing in staff is critical? D, friendship students are the leaders our world needs? Or E, we must lead organizations that uplift our children? Come on, friendship, you've got some choices. Well, friendship, bravo, bravo. I am thrilled to see that our first 25 years impacted your thinking. Now, this is pretty fascinating. Let me say this. The overwhelming majority of you, a third, have chosen A. We are more powerful together. Now, let's take a look ahead because I'm eager to see what matters most to you. What do you want from our next chapter, from our second 25 years? Your choices are A, greater student voice. B, educator-led innovation. C, a focus on social justice. And D, adding art, music, and student enterprise for every child, every year, starting at 3 years old. I will tell you, for me, I'm voting for all of the above, but that wasn't a choice. And it looks like as the results are coming through that, well, it's getting pretty close. Student voice is in the running. Social justice is catching up. But educator-led innovation seems to be pushing at your hearts and minds. And so it is. Educator-led innovation, and I find that to be exciting. Are you ready for the next 25 years? I know I am. I'm looking forward to the next chapter. I see Friendship's future shaped by how our family helps you to manifest your vision, ideas, and dreams. Your role in crafting the next chapter is paramount. I need all of you in the house and ready for action. So let me ask, Armstrong, are you ready? How about Flo Pierce? Are you ready? And my friends at Chamberlain, are you ready? And to my collegiate knights, are you ready? And to Ideal and our new Lamont family, are you ready? Online, are you ready? Southeast, are you ready? Tech Prep, are you ready? Woodridge, are you ready? The friendship of the future will reform educational systems as we know it. The fact is, it's already happening. We will be bigger, and as many of you know, we already added a new campus site this year. And Arkansas has grown to 6 schools that will be open in the coming year. We will continue to support the expansion of Friendship here in Washington, D.C., and throughout the country. You know we're already in Arkansas, but we have on the horizon Texas, Oklahoma, Maryland, Pennsylvania. Like I said, we're already reforming educational systems as we know it. And I've been listening to you. And I've promised that I am committed to providing the resources and support for every one of you to birth your dreams. For the next 25 years, I challenge us to be even better. I'm asking us to be even greater. As we move into our next chapter, I want to envision a future where we join hands in celebration. Together, we will fill our Friendship house with the fruits of endless possibilities, because we are one friendship, one vision, one mission. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Brantley. Speaking on behalf of our Friendship family, we are proud to call you our CEO. Okay, so right now you're bursting with profound sense of purpose. But hold on, it's about to get even better. Dr. Stephen Perry is one of the most sought-after speakers in education advocacy in America. Like Mr. Hintz and Ms. Brantley, Dr. Perry understands what it takes to transform the educational landscape. Please welcome Dr. Steve Perry.
I don't care where a parent lives. I don't care what a parent's race is. I don't care what the economic situation is. Every single parent has either hoped for or prayed the same prayer over their child's head, and that is simply that this child does better than I did. I find it absurd that in the United States of America, that a child has to win a lottery to go to a good school. So I wanted to create more good school options.
What is happening, Friendship Charter Schools? I'm so happy to be back. I'm happy to be back because you really are the high watermark. And I say that in absolute deference. Your founder, Donald Hintz, is somebody I look to as a mentor in my head. He's among one of the pioneers in this self-determination through education movement. He stands as a person who didn't just talk about making a difference, but pulled together a team, and now you, 25 years later, to keep making a difference. It is worth noting that your work is being watched all over the world. It's not just what y'all are doing in D.C. We watch you in New York and all over the country, because we believe that when we decide that we are going to be the people who take our children's education into our own hands, we can create the type of freedom that our children deserve. I want to also take an opportunity to thank you, every single Friendship Charter teacher. Now, more than ever, we need you. 80% of you returning this year. That's dope. That shows that you're committed to something that is bigger than yourself. It shows that you understand that now more than ever, not just because we're coming out of COVID, not just because we had the Freedom Spring, not just because people are starting to understand that there was a digital divide, not even because that get in the sense that there is an achievement gap. You are important because before there was anything, there was a teacher. Before there was a preacher, somebody had to teach him. Before there was a doctor, somebody had to teach her. Before every single thing that anyone has ever done, great and small, there had to be teachers. And you represent the best that we have to offer, because you understand that when you love somebody, you teach them how to do it the right way. And some people have said, you're the tough love educator. If you've ever been in love, you know all love is tough. So I'm in love. I'm in mad, passionate love with the opportunity to serve our community. And I recognize you are too. I recognize that you understand that the true way to show how much our children mean to you is to show them the right way. Notice I said show. Show is different than teach. Teach often means talk. Talk often means missing the point. You can have two people talking past one another. And if they raise their voices, it's an argument. But when someone decides to teach someone else, they presume at their core that the person can learn. And they also presume at their core that the person that they're talking to should be taught. They accept their personhood, they accept their humanity, and they bring their humility. When you teach somebody how to do something, you want to show them how to do it. You want them to understand. You want them to show you that they know how to do it. You want them to see what it is that you see. You want them to show the skill that you want them to develop. You are not just teachers. You show people. People. Notice I said that because it's so easy to think about children as kids, as if kids are somehow less than. But people are more than. People are adults. You don't become a person until you become an adult in so many people's eyes. I submit to you that if you're a friendship, you understand, as Horton understood, that a person is a person no matter how small. And when you get the sense that you must show people how to do what it is that they need to do, you are showing them the love that you have for them. When you show a child the love that you have for them, you don't allow their circumstances to be a limit to what you show them. You don't start with saying that, well, I don't want to give them homework because they have to drop their little sister off. I don't want to give them homework because they're poor. I don't want to give them homework because the mother's in prison. I don't want to give them homework because I know that they're in a shelter. I don't want them to have to feel what failure feels like by asking them a question in class. I don't want them to deal with the humiliation of not knowing because they came to us so far behind. When you love somebody, for every single one of those reasons, you push them. You push them. You understand that because they may have an incarcerated parent, they need to be pushed. Because they're poor, they may need to be pushed. Because they're Black, they may need to be pushed. Because they're Latin, they may need to be pushed. Because they come from a country that you never even heard of before you met that particular child, they need to be pushed. The children deserve your love. They deserve to be shown what you know. The true sign of a fantastic teacher is not what they know. It's what the children know. There are very few jobs in which it's called what it does. I don't know what a lawyer does, but it doesn't sound like lawyering. I don't know what a doctor does, but it doesn't sound like doctoring. I don't know what an electrician does, but it doesn't sound like electricianing. But teaching is pretty straightforward. When you love your children, you take the time to show them the right way to do it. Show them, especially in this time when we find ourselves online. If you understand that what children do today when they want to learn something is they Google it. And after they Google it, they may YouTube it. And when they YouTube it, somebody shows them how to do it. They show them how to put on makeup. They show them how to dress fly. They show them how to make a beat. They show them how to do their math. They show them how to do their science. They show them. But those people who are showing them don't know them like you do. You know our children because in many cases, they've shared who they are with you. They've shared with you the challenges that they confront every day. They've shared with you their hopes. They've shared with you their passions. They may have shared with you a drawing that they've never shown anyone, a poem that they've written, a song that they performed, or a tattoo that they got that they know damn well they weren't supposed to get because they're too young. But you, they've shown you because you've shown them. You've shown them something that mattered to you, which was a subject. They've shown you what matters to them, which is who they are. For you to show our children what is important to you, you are proving to them or showing them that you love them. Our kids know who's real and fake. It didn't take them but a second. I don't care who you are. Our kids ain't caught up in your color. That's not their thing. That's not a kid thing. That's a grown person thing. That's not a kid thing. You could be white from the suburbs, never really met Black and Latin people before taking this job. Kids don't trip over that. You could be jet black from front to back, grown up with all the credentials that would give one the belief that you are down with the cause. But if you don't show the kids you love them, they don't believe you. Kids don't have wisdom, they have instinct. And they, through their instinct, can tell who's fake and who's real. They know who's about that life. They know who understands what they're going through. Not understands because you're going through it as well, but understands because you understand that they are people. People. Beautiful, fantastic, amazing people. They may be little, some of them. Some of them are gigantic, taller than you. But they're all people. And in their personhood, all they want from you is for you to show them that you love them. They want you to prove it. Many of them have people come and go from their lives. They build a family where they stand. They're quick to bestow, not quick to bestow an honor upon you by calling you auntie or uncle. But when they do, they mean it. They affectionately call you Miss or Mr., Coach. Our children need you to show them the right way. And we find ourselves in this peculiar paradox because in this country, our children have been shown very clearly that they do not matter. Their lives don't matter, their bodies don't matter, and their minds don't matter. The United States of America has effectively set up a system that ensures that children who are living in a particular community, who have been placed there through any form of policy, from urban renewal acts to housing covenants, all the way through to redlining and other policies and procedures, those children who live in those neighborhoods who were sent there because of their color, nothing else, they ain't doing anything wrong, were meant to be ignored by the educational establishment. The goal was clear. Keep them as far away from wealthy white kids as possible. Put them off on their own and let them fend for themselves. Our children may not understand the policies or practices that got them into this place that they find themselves, the neighborhood within which they live. But they know what it feels like to not be loved because they have instinct. That instinct is telling them that y'all don't love me. You don't care about me. You don't care about my life. They didn't need a hashtag to say that Black lives didn't matter. They knew that before then. They understood before then that they were not valued. While Black children represent only 18% of the kindergartners, they represent 48% of the kindergartners who are suspended or expelled. Think about that. 48% represent only 18%. We know that children who are suspended earliest are suspended most often. Those children who are suspended most often and are most likely to be behind. We know that if a child does not read at a grade level, by the time they're in the third grade, they have a 75% chance of never, ever reading at a grade level. We know that those children who do not read at grade level are the most likely to drop out. Those who are the most likely to drop out are the ones who are the most likely to be incarcerated. Those who are the most likely to be incarcerated are the ones who are most likely to have to return to prison through recidivism. And those people who have a record are the least employable, and it should come as no surprise to you, therefore the most likely to be poor. 18% of the community, almost 50% of the incarcerated. No one showed them they loved them. It will also come as no surprise to you, 75% of the inmates cannot read. No one showed them. They just didn't show them. They didn't show them how to read, and they didn't show them they loved them. And here we are in charter schools. Charter schools. We are in charter schools. Charter schools started by a brother. So that we would have self-determination, so that we could create an education for us, by us, so that our community could move forward, so we could bring together people of all hues to move our community forward under the banner of self-determination. Yet and still the system that didn't value our children's lives and put generations ago into ghettos, that system remains in place and wants nothing more than every single charter school in the United States of America to shut down. They make claims against you, say that you kick kids out, you handpick the kids you have, your children don't have special needs, your teachers don't work as hard, your parents are more motivated, you have resources that they don't. I know they're all lies. You know they're all lies. But the politicians and their agents, the authorizers, either they don't know that they're all lies or they don't give a damn that they're all lies. But the politicians and their agents, the authorizers, very often make no bones about coming for fantastic educational experiences like friendship. 25 years of commitment to educating our children, of showing our children love by teaching them to read, write, and compute so that they may go on to a 4-year college, so that they may live a life that their God and their capacity should have earned them. Now more than ever, you are important because you're part of something that is bigger than yourself. You are part of an organization that was founded in some cases before some of y'all were born. Founded in most cases before many of you began your careers. But founded with you in mind. That if Brother Hens could bring together a team of educators, what he could do is get them to agree that our children are people and as such are worthy of being shown love. And that method of showing them love would be through education. Charter schools have it harder than every other school type, period. Neighborhood schools do not have it as hard as charter schools. They just don't. First of all, they don't have to apply to exist. They exist because they do, because there was a system put in place to make sure that they had to send the Black and Latin and poor kids somewhere during the day where they could be warehoused. So those schools are going to exist because they need somewhere to warehouse our children. We have to apply. We have to get community support. We have to raise resources. We have to get the community to believe in us. And then after we get the community to believe in us, we have to get them to stay the course, despite the fact that we ask them to do more things than the traditional school, which is sometimes just up the street, sometimes across the street, ask them to do. And one would think for all that you do as a charter school teacher, one would think for all that you do in an organization founded by our community for our community, that the system, that the politicians, many of whom say they come from our own community, the authorizers, many of whom would say that they understand the plight of our circumstances, that they would give us favor. that they will create more opportunities for us to exist. It's not the case. Because our children are right. They don't care about us. They don't care if our children learn to read, write, and compute. It's not about how much money they spend, because if it was money spent, the system has no problem spending money on our kids. It's just that they spend it the wrong way. Costs almost 3 times as much money to send a kid to a nearby Washington, D.C. Penal institution than it does to send them to Washington, D.C.'s own Friendship Charter. Almost 3 times. They ain't no problem sending a kid upstate. They have a problem sending them to state college. The only thing that stands in the way of this system and its desires to make sure that Black, Latin, and poor children never gain access to the beauty and grandeur that it is theirs to behold is you. Always was, always will be. You represent the hope of a generation. You represent children who don't know what they want to be when they grow up, but they know that they don't want to be where they are growing up. They know when they return, they want to come in a better set of circumstances so they can free the people who are in those circumstances from those circumstances. You are a family of educators brought together by a founder and a family of educators who know that there's something great inside our community, and it's your obligation to make that happen. I love Friendship. I respect the work that you do. I admire the commitment that you've made. I can't wait to see you again real soon. I thank you for taking time out and allowing me to be myself. Y'all take good care of yourselves.
Thank you, Dr. Murphy. Dr. Perry, that was incredible. You are a genuine leader. Great leadership is what makes great achievement outcomes. It's how each of us makes a difference at Friendship by leading the way. Which brings us to our CEO Choice Award. Please welcome Ms. Patricia Brantley and Mr. Donald Hintz.
Well, now, thank you, James. It's a wonderful, inspirational message from Mr. Steve Perry. You know, I'd say to you, it doesn't matter if no one else cares, as long as we do. We can take on anything, anyone, and we will accomplish all that we set our hearts to. You know, the CEO Choice Award, I almost always refer to it as the Chairman's Choice Award because that's how it started. And then a couple of years ago, it became the CEO Choice Award when I became the CEO. And it's always difficult each year when we have such greatness among our ranks to choose one person to give an award to on behalf of Friendship, on behalf of our children, on behalf of our school community. And as we stand on the eve of our 25th birthday, as we think about the past 25 years, it became even harder to figure out what I would say and how we would honor one single person in thinking about all that has been done. And I, thought about, sort of the saying, which is, bring me my flowers while I can smell them. And the idea that we don't recognize people while they're here with us, and then after we spend all this time sort of saying what they are. I read something that said, the reason that we do that is because regret is a stronger emotion than gratitude. Well, you know what? This is Friendship. It is gratitude that fills our hearts. And so we will recognize people while they are with us. And so, you heard a lot earlier today about the founding of Friendship and the starting of Friendship and how we didn't have and what we didn't do. But you also hear a lot in these types of ceremonies and convocation about greatness and celebration and laughter and joy and about all that we've done, as if all the moments are those that are high. But if you go back to our beginning, If you go back to 5-year reviews, if you go back to when we're trying to help a school community, whether it was Southeast or Lamont or Community Academy, public charter school, et cetera, there are times that we faced immense pressure. There were times when people said, you can't do it. You can't establish a school here. You can't make sure that kids are successful because they won't be. And, you know, it's not that we didn't believe, it's that other people didn't believe and don't believe in our kids. And they don't believe until you show them that you can do it. And so I'm reminded of a person. I think about who we honor. And it's funny because when you talk about honoring someone, you should talk about their characteristics. But what is truly true about people who are great is that their greatness doesn't just reside in them. It's how they make you better and greater. And so I think about someone who believed in our children. And because of that, they believed in all of us. And they took the hard times before us. There are stories that go that back when it was Friendship House, and Friendship House struggled. It was hard to be an agency dedicated to being an anti-poverty organization, to serving anyone that walked through the doors. People didn't really appreciate that, quite frankly. And so we found some difficulty in Friendship House in making payroll, in doing all the things that needed to happen. And there are stories that the person that you would be at Friendship House and doors would be closed, and you would just hear coming out from under the door of the office. And it was, what do you do when you've done all you can and it seems like it's never enough? What do you do when your friends go away and you're all alone, all alone? And of course, the refrain to that, you all know, is that you just stand. You just stand. You let the work see you through. You stand. After you've done all you can, you stand. In the work that we have chosen to do, and you might say it is the work of the heart, it is the work of good, but that does not mean that people won't fight you. It does not mean that they won't put obstacles in your path. For 25 years, one man has stood at the front of the fight and taken the blows so we could do the good work. And so today, our CEO award goes to the man who would stand and does stand and forever stands for all of us. And I'm proud to say that Donald Hentz, you are the awardee. It has been the privilege of a lifetime to do the work for friendship. It has been the privilege of my lifetime to know Donald L. Hentz and to come every day to some place where somebody believes so deeply in our capability and what we can do and is willing to stand up. And I'm telling you, whether we are doing our best or if we are slow in the moment, he still believes. And for that, and I know I speak for all of us, we are forever grateful, and we thank you, Mr. Hentz.
You're determined to make me cry, and you succeeded. I'm so shocked. Usually, I know what's going on, but I guarantee you I don't. Today, I might have known when Gregory showed up, and he'd already been down here just a week or two ago, but just didn't occur to me. Thank you. When Pat talks about the difficulties that we had, people give a lot of lip service about children in education. But there is not a building that we are in that we didn't have to fight to be in the building to provide education for the children. I was outside of Chamberlain one day, and the ANC commissioner, one of the new ones, came up to me and said, "Are you Mr. Hentz?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Can you tell your parents not to park in front of our house to pick up their children?" And, you already know I'm difficult. I said to her, well, how long have you lived here? It's because this building has been here 75 years, so you knew you were moving across the street from a school. I said, so you know that there are going to be parents. When we went to Blow Pierce, the ANC head said, the drug dealers have said you are not going to move in that building, that is their headquarters. They ran a drug manufacturing plant on the first floor of Blow Pierce. When we finished the renovations, we had one of the local radio stations set up shop on the Blow Pierce parking lot, and we had a party. You know we like to party. The same thing went for collegiate. Mary Proctor has pictures in her book on friendship about what it looked like. Every pipe, every toilet, every ceiling tile had been ripped out of the building. We have a school. No one can deny that Collegiate is a school. No one can deny that Chamberlain is a school. No one can deny that friendship is for families and friendship is for children. I am grateful for this opportunity. I'm grateful for the award. Pat, you floored me today, and you know how much I love you. Thank you for everything. Thank you, everybody at Friendship.
Thank you. We also are grateful. We are grateful. This has been a wonderful morning. And yes, it's different, but different can be very good too. And, just one more time. Thank you, Donald Hentz, for giving us all what we needed and giving our children schools and serving as an example of what it means to keep pushing, to keep trying, to act in friendship and love. So we're not finished with some surprises for you today. Before we conclude, we have something very important for all of us to do together. I'd like you to go into your swag bags and find your key. It's hiding in there somewhere. It's a lovely key on chain. It has Friendship's little logo, name on it. I want you to think about this key and the symbolism of keys as unlocking doors. But keys don't only unlock doors. They say there's a place that you belong to. It's a place on the other side of that key. We want you to unlock your dreams at Friendship. Every one of us holds the key to Friendship's future. I often say, Friendship isn't me. It isn't just Donald. It isn't just community office. It's not just a principal. What Friendship is who you are to each of the children and to each other that come through our doors. That's what Friendship is, right? We are part of Friendship's future, and we are in this together because we are one mission, one vision, one friendship. And I thank you for being part of our Friendship family today and every day. You are the key to our future. Please remember that, because we couldn't be more proud of all of you. And so here's to our next 25 years. Thank you.